So, picture this. You wake up tomorrow, and before you've even had your coffee, your AI assistant has already answered your priority emails, filed that annoying expense report, and even successfully negotiated a better rate on your software subscription. I mean, it sounds like an absolute utopia, right?
Yeah, it really does. That is, until you realize the massive twist here. The exact same technology making your morning completely seamless is being used by hackers right now to launch attacks faster than any human team can possibly defend against.
Which really brings us to the core conflict of 2026. What actually happens when the ultimate assistant becomes the ultimate weapon?
Exactly. And to really understand that collision, we first need to unpack the mainstream rise of agentic AI. We have to look at how this tech, which was designed to make us hyper-productive, is fundamentally changing everything about how systems operate.
So let's establish what agentic AI actually is. We're talking about systems that don't just wait around for a prompt. They take initiative, they plan, they execute multi-step tasks by using tools and calling APIs completely on their own.
Right, so we really need to forget the basic chatbots we're all used to. You know, the ones that basically act like really smart search bars where you type something in and it types something back. These new systems, they're acting much more like independent coworkers.
Precisely. Let's trace an actual workflow to see what this looks like in practice. First, the agent researches the market. Second, it pulls live data. Third, it writes an entire report. And finally, fourth, it formats that document and emails it directly to your team.
And what's wild to me is that it only takes one single human instruction to trigger that entire complex chain of autonomous actions. Just one command.
So the big takeaway here is that we've officially moved from AI as just a cool feature to AI as an actual worker.
And that is definitely not just some future theory. Over in customer support, agents are looking up accounts and processing refunds end-to-end with zero human involvement. In finance, they handle complex loan underwriting. In software development, these agents are literally writing code, running tests, and fixing bugs entirely autonomously.
But here is where we hit the massive governance catch. 64% of business leaders now actively assess AI security before deploying it. And that's a huge jump from just a year ago. Because if you give an AI agent access to your company's files and emails, and it isn't properly sandboxed, the potential for sensitive data leakage is astronomical.
Which is honestly terrifying. I mean, what actually happens if they aren't sandboxed? What are the real risks if AI gets this wrong?
That leads us perfectly into the darker side of this explainer. When AI goes dark, how are cybercriminals weaponizing this exact same power?
Well, it's a direct translation. If an AI can autonomously plan and execute a complex marketing campaign, hackers have figured out that it can just as easily autonomously plan and execute a complex cyberattack.
And the scale of this is frankly alarming. According to CrowdStrike, AI-enabled cyberattacks have surged by 89% in just the past year alone. Attackers are using AI to automate network reconnaissance and exploitation at a pace we've simply never seen before.
Wait, 89% in one single year? That's incredible. It basically means that tasks taking human operators hours or even days are now happening in near real time. They are replacing the human element entirely.
Which brings us to the breakout time. Breakout time is the window it takes an attacker to move from their very first initial foothold in your system to a full network compromise. The fastest recorded time is now just 27 seconds.
27 seconds? Just think about that for a second. An AI agent allows hackers to compromise an entire system in less time than it takes you to watch a short video on TikTok.
And because of that, the attacks themselves look completely different today. AI phishing uses large language models to generate hyper-personalized emails at massive scale. They also use deepfake vishing, basically voice phishing, where you get a call that sounds identically like your CEO asking you to immediately wire funds.
So the whole era of the Nigerian prince scam with terrible grammar and obvious fake links is completely dead. These sound exactly like someone you know and trust.
Completely dead. And here is a fascinating, under-discussed stat. In 2025, 82% of detected attacks used absolutely no traditional malware. None. No viruses, no malicious downloads.
Hold on, if there's no malware, how on earth are they getting in and doing all this damage?
They're doing it through a highly effective technique called living off the land. Instead of dropping a recognizable virus, these attacks hijack your perfectly legitimate system tools, things like Windows PowerShell or your cloud admin consoles. Traditional antivirus simply doesn't flag them because the tools themselves are supposed to be there.
I get it.
So the attacker's AI acts almost like a real-time GPS, dynamically mapping out your environment and finding the exact path of least resistance to guide these invisible attacks right under the radar.
Okay. But with attacks moving literally that fast, is it just entirely hopeless?
Not at all, because the organizations surviving this onslaught are the ones fighting fire with fire. 77% of organizations are now utilizing defensive AI. We're talking about automated threat response systems that can isolate a compromised device in milliseconds. The reality of defense today is that it is literally AI versus AI.
But here is the ultimate paradox of all this access. To make an AI assistant truly useful to us, we have to give it access to our calendar, our email, our bank, our files, but the exact things we connect to empower our agents are the identical targets cybercriminals want to exploit. Exactly. Creating an AI agent with more power inherently means you're creating a bigger risk. The access itself is the attack surface.
And that's exactly why regulators are frantically trying to catch up right now. Places like the EU are pushing incredibly hard on AI governance frameworks. They're especially demanding explainability in high-stakes sectors like finance, so we know exactly why an AI made a specific decision. Because if an AI agent gets compromised, you aren't just looking at a hacked piece of software. It's a hacked assistant holding the actual keys to your life. You aren't just trusting a program anymore, you're trusting the agent and the company that built it. AI is completely redefining what trust means.
So, practically speaking, how do you protect yourself? First, turn on multi-factor authentication everywhere. Passwords alone are entirely insufficient now. Second, use a dedicated password manager, and please, stop reusing passwords. And finally, stay updated, because automated attacks constantly scan for and exploit unpatched software. And from a behavioral side, you need to be deeply suspicious of urgency. AI-powered social engineering almost always tries to panic you into moving fast. If a message feels urgent, just slow down and verify it through a separate channel.
It really comes down to this core idea, power and trust. Not one or the other, but both. AI is no longer just a tool we pick up and use. It has fundamentally become a complex system we operate inside of.
So the real question is, do you actually know what your AI agent has access to right now? Take a look, because understanding how these systems work is the new baseline for digital literacy. Thanks for exploring this with us, and as always, stay curious.